So Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier has spoken publicly now about the Grand Theft Auto 6 delay. And I have some thoughts, because I think for the first time I have my doubts in Jason Schreier's reporting, but let's just get into it. So Jason Schreier put out a post on Blue Sky essentially saying that for the longest time he's known that GTA 6 would definitely get delayed based on the conversations he's had with developers at Rockstar. Now, Jason Schreier is within the know. He does have a lot of sources at Rockstar, and he has been the first to break multiple bits of news over the years and to report on various things to do with Grand Theft Auto. I have absolutely no doubts at all that he does have some really good contacts at Rockstar. But what I do find extremely interesting is over the past year, whenever Jason Schreier has reported on the likelihood that GTA 6 gets delayed, or whenever he's been asked about it, he's always said that it looks like it could be a possibility, but you know, things could be on track. He's never once mentioned that he believes that the game will get delayed. Now, many people out there have been really split on it. I've obviously been in the camp of, well, it's a Grand Theft Auto game, getting delayed is not going to be surprising. There's a very good chance it does get delayed, but hey, let's just hope for the best. Now, Jason Schreier has said that he's always said that the game would get delayed, but that only goes back a couple of months, and he also did post it in a place that we could only read it if we paid to read it. You can't actually access any of this publishing material unless you are subscribed to Bloomberg. However, I do think that what he said publicly in interviews and publicly on social media versus saying something entirely different, especially when it's something as important as a delay behind a paywall, when people trust what he says, I don't know. Now, over the past year, I've had multiple conversations with people at Rockstar, and to be honest, I've not asked the question about a delay in at least 6 months. But going back 6 months, I didn't get the impression from them that they thought that the game would get delayed. Now, the reason why I feel that this is kind of important is because it all comes down to who you speak to at Rockstar. People in different departments, and bearing in mind there's somewhere between 4,000 to 6,000 employees at Rockstar, different departments are responsible for different things. A whole team of people could think that the game's going to get delayed, 10 teams of people could think that the game is definitely going to get delayed, whilst another team might be fully up to date and complete in their tasks and their roles. It all depends where they work, what department they're in, what their job role is in. Rockstar isn't one unified thing. Different departments in different studios in different countries may have completely different visions of what's going on with the rest of the business, because the secrecy that we feel with Rockstar is the same internally as well. Now, when it comes to the delay and all of the possible causes, and more specifically the more likely causes, I will be dropping a full video on that in the coming days. I'm currently working on it, but it's going to be quite a long video because there's various people I'm talking to bring it all together to make it as concise and informative as possible. It's going to be almost like a little kind of mini documentary sort of thing, but you'll see it when it comes out. But there is some interesting points that I would like to talk about. With the Grand Theft Auto delay, now many of us obviously knew that it could be a possibility for Rockstar to delay the game, but a 6-month delay for me personally isn't really what came to mind first when thinking about a delay. The fact that they have been quiet to this point, and then it gets to May and now there's a whole 6-month delay, could mean a few key things. Either something's gone horribly wrong, they've just ran behind schedule, or alternatively, they probably only need a month or two extra, but they're saying 6 months to make sure that they don't have to delay it again. Leaving it this late is probably because Rockstar really didn't want to have to delay the game, and they wanted to put themselves in a situation where they knew for a fact whether the game was going to be delayed or not, and I think that's what we're seeing now. I think the 6-month delay is just worst case scenario. I think that there's every chance that the game probably could even be ready for the end of this year, but they don't want to be going through this whole process of crunch again. And I'll be going more into that in my next video. But of course, the delay in general has fueled a lot of speculation that it's going to get delayed again and it's going to be end of next year. I've even had some people that solidly believe the game is coming out in 2027 or 2028. And, you know, at this point, maybe, but the way I see it is that Rockstar have announced this delay because worst case scenario, let's call it 6 months later and bring it into May. Now, of course, another thing to talk about with the delays are some coincidences, and maybe they are just coincidences. I've had a bit of fun with it on Twitter, but the game is obviously coming out on the 26th of May, 2026, which is also coincidentally the same date that Bonnie Parker's funeral was. Now, if you don't know who Bonnie Parker is, well, it's Bonnie and Clyde. Clyde's funeral was the day before, but the big famous funeral was Bonnie Parker's, and that's the one where all of the media arrived, and it's quite a notable day. So this could maybe suggest that Lucia doesn't make it through the whole story. I don't know. We are going down speculation street, but that's what we do best here. I think it's a really interesting piece of food for thought. Now, when it comes to the date of May the 26th, well, this is a Tuesday. Tuesdays and Fridays are always the best time to release games. Something else that I found quite interesting is that obviously the game's coming out on Tuesday, the 26th of May, but the day before in the UK is a bank holiday, and I believe it's a national holiday in America as well. So normally stores are closed on national holidays. Obviously game stores are probably going to be open for the release of GTA 6, but maybe not all of them. So this could probably dampen the mood a little bit on a midnight launch party like we had for games like Grand Theft Auto 5. So I'm really keen to see how this one plays out, because it's definitely going to be interesting. But yeah, I thought I'd just weigh in my thoughts on the whole Jason Schreier thing and the other little bits of information that have popped up. There's still quite a bit to talk about when it comes to this delay, and obviously that'll be for the next video. And based on some conversations I've had and some research I've done, and not just, you know, on the Rockstar side of things, but talking to other games developers, it's really interesting how little things can make a big difference to the release cycle of the game. And hopefully my next video that goes into all of that will be enjoyable, because I've actually really enjoyed making it despite the bad news. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Beginnings on the cusp, not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, moved G. Anything to get a buck. You won't find me in the club.